Okay, greetings and peace everyone. My name is Neo and I'm here to share some info with the people, with you people, in particular my melanated people, the melanated beings of planet Earth and, well, planet Earth for right now. The beings that's here, the melanated beings that's here on the planet, and that has been here for billions of years. We have been here for billions of years. The melanated recessive are the Johnny-come-latelys. They are new to the planet, and that's why they still running around trying to figure out how this planet works and fucking shit up on this on this planet, because they still trying to figure out what it is to be human and all this other mundane things. And they've been working for years to get us caught up into this fucking human shit, but they have been successful getting us melanated beings emerged in this human shit. However, us melanated beings, we are on a much higher level than this human crap. We just have been, when we came into this physical human realm and it emerged us, we forgot who we were as advanced beings. Now is the time, since we already always had the melanin, but now is the time to actually activate that melanin and learn how to utilize it. This information right here may sound weird to a lot of the new people who have not been into the consciousness movement, so to speak, and for people who are just waking up spiritually. This information is for the melanin dominated beings, and that includes me. If you are familiar with Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and Dr. Delbert Blair, this information is going to be within your range. If you have not heard of any of those at all, it might sound a little bit weird to you. And remember, this is for the melanated beings. If you don't know what melanin is, go ahead and search it up. Go search up Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and Dr. Delbert Blair. Okay, people, so with that said, so we have, for those of us who have been listening to Bobby Hemmett and those three in general, and for me predominantly I listen to Bobby Hemmett, and as I've said in a lot of my previous videos, I mention Bobby Hemmett a lot because I listen to his stuff a lot. I have been attracted, magnetized to his information. I listened to all three of them before, and I compared them all, and they all have variations within their teaching style and what they teach. However, when it comes to Bobby Hemmett, every time I get done listening to all three of them, some way, somehow, I always end up saying to myself and having this feeling like I want more of Bobby's information. I want more of his information. It's just, it's captivating to me. So I listen to his stuff a lot, and his information is definitely needed for all of us melanated beings to help raise us up on a higher consciousness level and get out of this human thinking. We know that we have the melanin and we are melanin dominated. However, if you really look at other people's videos and you hear them speak about melanin and all of this other stuff, they really don't know how to access the melanin, and they really don't know the power of the melanin that we have inside of us. And me, I'm still studying, analyzing, and observing the melanin that's within inside of myself and how to utilize this thing. So I'm still learning and evolving, and new things are being revealed to me. I haven't done much reading about the melanin, not as much as me studying myself, because I feel like, okay, the melanin is already inside of me and I can feel the shit moving. So let me study this for myself. And I gotta tell you that melanin has tons and tons of functions, so many that humans probably haven't even been able to write about or even perceived what it can do. And it has to do with, let me tell you one thing too, has to deal also with black holes, creating portals. Us melanated beings, and the spirit just came through and literally just told me this just now on the spot, because I told them to come through and let me know what they want me to share with this in this video. And they just said that you can create portals. It deals with portals. So having the melanin, you can create portals and walk through them bitches. And for people who don't know what a portal is a shortcut to another dimension. You can go to different dimensions, or even shortcut to wherever you want to go. Like, say for example, and I'm going to keep this example on a mundane level because I don't want to go too advanced and then end up losing a lot of people. So a portal, you can use a portal, like say for example, for a person who does not own a vehicle like me. And I'm happy I don't own a vehicle, because I'm going to go into tell you what owning the vehicle is. And when you get at an advanced level, you can really see like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what he's talking about now. Okay, so say for example, you're on the east side of your city. And here I live in New York, central New York. So you're on the east side of your city. Let's say New York City, Manhattan. Yeah, let's say that. You're in Manhattan, but you want to get to Queens. The average person will either drive their vehicle, if they own one, get a ride if they can find a ride the bus, the subway, or any other external thing. But however, if you have the melanin and you have the know-how, you can find a spot, create a portal, walk through that bitch, and transfer instantly from Manhattan to Queens without any vehicles, human vehicles, without using anything else besides your mind. Open that bitch up, that portal, boom, you walk through it, boom, you're already in Queens. That's just on the mundane level, but you can also do it to go to different dimensions, and that's on an advanced level. But however, most people are not on an advanced level because they haven't even gotten outside of this human trap as far as the human thinking. They're still thinking like a human. So this is exactly what this video is supposed to be about, is letting people know, like, look, okay, we know we have the melanin. We know we are the Egyptians. We are the Lemurians. And I was here in Lemuria too. The spirit told me that. So we know all of this stuff. So now it's time to step up to our power, as Nazir Ra mentioned. Step up to our power and be that super being, much more than being a fucking human being. Because when you're an advanced being already, and you stay fucking with this human shit, the human shit is a trap. So the more you keep your consciousness on this fucking human level, you worrying about human sentiment, worrying about your fucking car, your goddamn job, let me see, what else do humans worry about? What type of gaming system that they want to get, and they are obsessing over it, and they're getting angry that something happened to their game console, or that they can't get one. Worrying about cell phones when we have telepathy, and most people haven't even been focusing on learning how to use their telepathy and utilize their telepathy for a variety of other things. So it was at one point too, as far as cell phones, and that's one of the reasons why I rarely even use cell phones to communicate on. It's because I know that that we have that access of the telepathy, and it's more important to utilize this than to utilize, or I don't know where my phone is, than to utilize that fucking phone. Because each time you use something external external from your spiritual technology, you lessen your spiritual technology and you decrease your abilities because you have more belief in these tools than you do your own self. Let me give you an example. It was one time I was in the library upstairs, the university library, and I was looking outside and watching the guys with the construction, and they had these big boulders, these iron boulders, and then they had a big huge circle shit, and I'm just sitting there looking at them, and they're saying to myself, like, look at all these tools that humans have created external from themselves, and depending on these tools, when all they gotta do is just grab that iron thing, put it over that big iron boulder that's like what, maybe 6-7 feet or longer, something like that, put that shit on the shoulder and just fly up there to the top of the building and put it down put it down, line it up line it up, go back, grab the other one and build it up. But no, humans have been watered down tremendously to a very, very low level to where they have to depend on these external machines. And when I say external machines, I mean these vehicles, the technology, the computers, the phones, all of these things to do what we already have inside of ourselves. And a few years ago, I'll say probably about 20, in my mid-20s, and a lot of people think that I'm still in my early 20s. That's the melanin repairing my body consistently, drinking lots and lots of water, but I'll get into that later. And then it was one time I realized that, hold up, all of these technologies are a direct carbon copy of what we can do within ourselves. And I realized that in my mid-20s. And I was looking at the phone, I'm like, okay, look, I already got the telepathy, so that's where the phone communication comes from. Let me see here. What's the other one? The vehicles. I might as well go ahead and get into the vehicles. It's going to sound really, really weird to a lot of people, but my mind has evolved to a very, very high level, so I can perceive this, and only certain people is going to be able to perceive what I'm saying here. For many years throughout my lifetime, I never really cared about owning a vehicle. It's just something that I just didn't care about. However, and I didn't even care about having my own license, driver's license. However, with my mother and my father being spiritually asleep and programmed with the societal programs, they were the influence over me to get my license. So boom, I got my license, and I still didn't, like, this is when I was 16, or in my teenage years. So then when I got that, I still didn't care about having a vehicle. I didn't care about having a vehicle until somewhere in my 20s, after watching lots of Fast and Furious movies. And a lot of people have not cared about having a car until they watch them fucking movies. Just like my cousin, when the first Fast and Furious movie came out, he became a huge Fast and Furious fan, and then he went out and got his Honda Civic, you know, the black Honda Civic, the black tinted windows, and I think it's the black rims too, or some people say wheels, but the rims, the black rims, and then got that big exhaust pipe. And when you hit the gas, then the manual transmission. He was a victim of that mind control, and these movies are mind control, and the more you watch them, then the more psychological programming you program yourself. I'm going to get into that too, into that, because that's how you help activate the melanin too, depending on what you watch. But anyways, so That and then playing these video games a few years ago when I used to have an Xbox 360, the driving games. Playing those consistently, those are the only two times where I really wanted a car at the time, and I was obsessed with it, right? Okay, but then when I stopped watching those movies and stopped playing the video games, I went back to not caring about having a fucking car. And let me tell you the reason for this though. The reasoning for this though is because subconsciously and spiritually I know that having a vehicle is unnecessary to get around, because me and a whole bunch of other people are higher advanced beings. And when you access your mind outside of your human thinking, you can perceive that it's really unnecessary to have your own vehicle because you can do so many other things to transport. So just recently, last week or so, I sat down and I was sitting there looking at vehicles driving around me and just watching people get into their cars and drive off. And this thought came through, I think it was the spirit, the spirit came through and said to me, vehicles are wheelchairs for humans. Vehicles are wheelchairs for humans. They're super advanced wheelchairs. Just think about a wheelchair. Let's go back to the classic wheelchair where you got the two big wheels, and those people who are already in a wheelchair know what I'm talking about. The two big wheels, and you got to sit in it, and it's made for disabled people, correct? Disabled people, whichever way the person is disabled, that's what it's for. If they can't walk and for whatever reason, that's what it's for. So you used to take that, and then you got to push yourself, or somebody else would push you because you're disabled. Now they go with the advanced ones where it's motorized, right? You got the little joystick or the little button, and then it pushes you. And there's some people who are not as disabled to where they are required to utilize a wheelchair at all, but those people have become dependent upon those chairs, especially the motorized one. There's some people that just like it because it's fun. It's fun. Even the 60, 70-year-old guys and females, they'll sit in it and they can walk perfectly, but they'll depend on it. They become dependent upon it. Now let's go to the vehicles as far as a car, the SUV, and the SUV. Regardless of how advanced the car is, you got the Ferrari all the way down to the Chevy Cruze and whatever else vehicle that you drive right now, right? That is a super advanced wheelchair. And you realize this when you perceive yourself as an advanced being. Just think, how many times have you seen Superman? For all the Superman fans, which I'm one too, and even if you're not a Superman fan, just you know of Superman, how many times have you seen Superman drive a fucking car? How many times have you seen him in the movies, in the cartoons, or anywhere else? Have you seen him sitting there worrying about, oh, okay, you know, I want to go get the new Chevy Cruze. I want to go get the new Ferrari, that Ferrari Italia. Yeah, man. Yeah, when I'm driving around, the lady's gonna love me. Or let's see, what else is the big car? I want to go get that new BMW M3. Let me see. No, I want to go get that Bentley, and I want to get it chromed out. I want to get metallic blue. No, this motherfucker he does not need a fucking car, and he knows that, and he knows that he's a higher being than these fucking humans. But what they do in the comics, though, as far as him being a higher being, they try to get him to still live like a fucking human, and that's the propaganda. That's the propaganda too, to get you, the higher being, the melanated being especially, to think like a human. And then the other part of the propaganda is this new Thor thing. the new Thor trailer of the Ragnarok, whatever you call that, you know what I'm talking about, of the new Thor movie, got him sitting around with other humans, laughing with other humans and acting like a fucking human, talking about being on vacation and other shit. Go watch that trailer, Thor Ragnarok, whatever you call it. I don't know why I can't get that right, but. And even in the first Thor movie, got him fucking with humans and being obsessed with the human sentiments. And that's where us melanated beings get caught up, in the human sentiments. And I was watching the Avengers movie again for like my 10th time or something like that. And I realized, like me, now that I'm on a higher psychological and spiritual level, spiritual consciousness, I was able to perceive on Loki's point of view of how he's looking at Thor. And then when Thor had him on top of Tony Stark's building, and he was like, let's end this madness, we can work together, you know. He got caught up in that human realm. As far as Thor, he started to think like a human, so I believe that he started to gradually develop a human ego, right? And then Loki's looking at him like, damn, this nigga is fucked up. He fucked up. And then he was like, sentiment. And then it clicked to me like, oh shit, that's what it is. It's human sentiment that's getting people fucked up. And when you worrying about human shit, human materials, and obtaining it, and talking about human love and all of this stuff, that puts you down on a low human level, out like far away from your advanced being, your extraterrestrial mindset. And that's why people are getting sick. That's why they're going through so many of these damn human issues. They're worrying about protesting, and it's so many dumb, mundane things. And I can say dumb, mundane things because my mind is on a much higher extraterrestrial level. When you get it, you'll see what I'm talking about, and you'll see how fucked up this human shit is. And you only get fucked up if you're thinking predominantly like a human, a weak human. And that's what these societies want you to be like. They want you to think like a fucking human, a weak one, so that you can be easily controlled, manipulated. But once you develop your mind to a higher level, it's almost impossible for anybody else to control you with the mind control. And that's what these people, the melanated, recessive, and the soulless beings, that's all they have over us melanated people, is melanated beings, is their damn mind control, their influences. That's it. And that's the media predominantly. Then they got the technology and these appliances too, that fucks up with your brain waves and shit like that. But it's all it is just influences. There's nothing else. There's little to no power that these melanated, recessive creatures and soulless creatures have. Once you realize that you are this big, powerful being, you can go anywhere you want and feel completely safe. Me realizing the power that I have, and I'm still observing what I have. For years, I have been able to walk anywhere I want at any time here in my city, while there's a lot of people who have fallen victim to what they see on the news, and that scares them and prevents them from even walking down the street to go to the store. So a lot of people, when they want to go to the store, they'll take their fucking car, and then they'll go to a store that's either across town or that's a little bit further from where they are, because they too scared to get out the house and go walk down the street or some shit like that. Some shit like that. So me, I walk anywhere at any time that I choose, and I'm telling you, it's definitely not what you think as far as what the news puts on the TV. It's a lot more safer than they make it, but they want to keep you, the melanated being in particular, they want to keep you scared. Once you are locked into fear, you're locked down into this human level, and then that's when people can control you and then take advantage of you. These other human beings and also the so-called authorities. Once you get on a higher level and your energy raises up, you become packed with energy. That's when niggas can't fuck with you. And when I'm packed with that energy and I walk down the street with that confidence, everybody get the fuck out of my way. And once I started realizing this, it was weird at first. A few years ago, I'll say about 3 years ago, once I did that, I had to get used to people actually getting out of my way like that. And there's sometimes that my primordial energy raises so high that people are actually nervous around me, because when I walk into a room, they automatically feel that energy, that kundalini energy, and the way that I already had that confidence, that confident walk, and the confident movements, and that the authoritative voice, people instantly respect me. And that's why I always wondered why cops treat me differently from the other people. And I'm on a whole another level. And this is where your melanin is activated. So you got to drink lots and lots of water, just like Bobby Hemmett says, lots of water. You do have to do it. And just like after this video, I'm going to drink tons of it. And I always wondered why when I drink a lot of water, I feel supercharged. For real, supercharged. I feel like a fucking Superman, and that I can fucking fly and lift up a damn car, which I could. It's just I'm working on a few things and learning how to do things myself. But I don't really show people that I'm trying to do this shit. But I'm saying lots of water, because the water, it's a marriage with the melanin. So water goes together like a dolphin inside of water. The dolphin has to have the water in order to survive. So the melanin has to have the water in order for it to stay active and move within your body, especially in your brain. When you want your higher your higher psychic abilities to work, you have to have the water inside your brain, inside your head, that moves the melanin, because the melanin allows us to be advanced psychics. It allows us to be advanced psychics. So that's why we can perceive things on higher levels than a lot of other people. All the way from the mundane stuff, like somebody's getting ready to come out at your door. And when I was in my early years, I was able, one of my earliest experiences with the intuition was, I was messing around listening to my mother. When she would be on the phone, I would always know who she's talking to, because her frequency in her voice changes, her words changes, and sometimes I can just feel the energy and I just know who she's talking to. That's one of my earliest times. That's the mundane stuff. But the advanced stuff is like when you're speaking to other beings from like other realms, and only certain, like when you go into higher up, you have to have the melanin. You have to be a melanated being to be able to communicate with the melanin realm of the higher melanated beings. And me, I know I have the melanin because I saw melanin. Just like in my video I was speaking about, in the video I saw melanin. That was the first one. I'm supposed to be doing a second one. I don't know when I'm gonna do that. But when I was telling people about when it goes through your brain, and I felt it go through my brain from, I think I was meditating or about to meditate, and that was the time where I had a lot of water in my system. And man, I'm getting a lot of sunlight. I guess that's good. Water in my system, and then the melanin, I felt the pineal gland pulsing, and then the melanin going through my brain. As it was going down through the rest of my body, I just felt serenity. completely calm. I didn't care about nothing. And I was just like, oh. It felt good. And I never felt that way before that time. And it's a relaxer too. When the melanin goes through your body, it relaxes you. And it's like you don't care about none of this human shit. You just feel good. Just like when they get high off that weed. You ever been like real high, and you just be chilling like, and you don't care about nothing. You just be chilling. So that's one aspect. It's a calming effect that it puts on you when you get the melanin going through your body. Let me see here, where else? Oh, let me go back to the advanced wheelchair. So there is a lot of mind control that I mentioned in some of my previous videos that goes on throughout all societies, especially this American society. So people have been programmed from childhood and seeing all of these car commercials, these cars, the trucks, SUVs commercials for many years. And in my teenage years, I would always wonder, like, why the fuck do they have so many car commercials? I'm like, damn, man, I see these shits almost every commercial after a TV show. And then it took me all these years to really come to the conclusion that that's what they want you to do. They want you to depend on these vehicles so that you won't recognize or even perceive that you could fly, you could teleport, you can create portals, and to walk through to go to another side of the city or whatever else. Or you can just walk through a wall and then end up on another side of where you want to be at. That's one thing. And then the other thing, of course, is they want your money. They want your money. And it's the same thing with the iPhones. I used to wonder, like, why the hell do they keep coming out with these goddamn iPhones every single year? And it's just another fucking trap. So after I realized what was going on, I didn't care about getting an iPhone no more. I didn't care about getting a vehicle anymore, and I'm happy for not having a goddamn vehicle, because when you own a car, and I'm sitting there analyzing this too, years ago, analyzing all of the things that people have to go through just to maintain the fucking car, the fucking vehicle. I'm like, shit, you gotta get gas, you gotta have that goddamn insurance, even if you're not even using it, and that doesn't even make sense at all, and people actually go ahead and follow through that insurance crap. Then you gotta make sure you get the oil changes, and then when you own a vehicle, you gotta worry about those people that want a ride, those annoying people. Even if they pay you, they still, it's that needy energy that they give off. And it fucking sucks, especially if you have your empathic senses activated. You can just feel that needy energy from people. And that needy energy that people radiate, it's distracting and it's debilitating. It's debilitating. So that's why weak people, I rarely surround myself around. I don't like being around weak people, weak-minded people who's always needy. I like the strong-minded people that can help me be strong, even more stronger than I am, or at least help where there's least worrying about them, because they are self-sufficient. I don't have to talk to them much about how to behave and stuff like that. However, if the younger being or the person really just wants help psychologically, then okay, that's different. But if it's somebody that's trying to hang out with me and they're not trying to raise themselves up, I won't. I'd rather be by myself than to be around other weak-minded people. I'm about raising people up to a higher level beyond this fucking human realm, and I don't teach people to focus on human shit because I already know what the deal is, and we supposed to be getting higher up above this shit. So the wheelchair just keeps, the advanced wheelchair, aka the vehicle, just keeps you trapped on a lower human realm. So when people talk to me about, oh, I just got a new BMW or such and such, I got this kind of vehicle, in my head, I'm like, so I don't care. You got a car. You're not focusing on your other abilities, your other transportation abilities. You focus on that low human abilities. And Thor is another one. Just imagine Thor sitting there thinking about buying a BMW. Just think about that. Him buying a BMW or a Mercedes Benz. The nigga that came from from a high dimension where he's God, where there's gods. They have invulnerability, the indestructible bodies, they have super strength, and he could fly. And he come down to this human realm sitting there thinking about a car. The farthest thing that he did was in the first Thor movie, he was talking about, I need a horse. and then the dude, the pet dude was like, we don't have horses, we have dogs. He was like, I need one of those, give me one of those, the largest one you have. That's the farthest human thing that, as far as transportation, he dealt with, because at the time he didn't have his abilities, so he was dependent on human shit. But now I'm saying to you, you got to get on a higher level so that you won't have to depend on this human shit. And that's what I've been doing with my own subliminal videos. Because when you have the hardware, you have to have the software in order to utilize the hardware, depending on what it is, what machine you have. So us melanated beings, we have the hardware, we have the DNA, and the DNA has been evolving for many, many years. It's just that the societies have been working around the clock to keep you from accessing your software that allows you to access your hardware. Because these societies, the controllers of these societies, they have been studying our DNA for many, 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 many years. And they know how powerful we are. It's that we have to learn how powerful we are. And that's the reason why they have been for years taking our people out in concealment, sneaky ways, because they know that they can't fuck with us head on. So that's why you see these massacres in the streets, or that you see it on TV, of our people, because they know that we have these mechanisms inside of us, these extraterrestrial forces, extraterrestrial, I like that, alienware. Anything alien I try to get involved with, anything that's non-human, much more than the human shit. So now that I'm on a higher level, I've been craving sci-fi movies and extraterrestrial movies lately. Anything where especially where the alien is dominating the human. I love those, because I know that that's us, the melanated beings, taking over the planet, and that's our job at some point. But I'll go into that maybe another time. I don't want to scare too many people. But anyways, they know how powerful we are. It's up to us to learn how powerful we are. So one way to access your melanin with your mind is you have to start conditioning your mind. For some people who have heard that audio of Bobby Hemmett is, I think it's titled Free Your Mind. At least the one that I heard is called Free Your Mind. You can go ahead and put that in the YouTube search bar, and then you'll see the Bobby Hemmett thing. And he said you have to start conditioning your mind. And I already been doing this before I even heard it, but that was just a confirmation. He was like, you gotta program your mind to not believe that nothing is impossible. And you gotta grab all of these superhero, super being, and extraterrestrial movies and watch them. Get into it. And all of the extraterrestrial movies where you got the alien trying to take over the planet, the extraterrestrials, that's us anyways. Anywhere where any movie, TV show where you see the humans beating up trying to battle against the extraterrestrials, that's us, the melanated beings, the melanated people. So if you take the alien out and put you in it, you'll see why these humans been trying to fuck with our people for many, many years, but they do it in a concealed way and with the mind control. Once you get out of the mind control and you realize how powerful you are and you know how to control your power, nobody can fuck with you. So it's the mind programming that you have to get into. So watch all of these superhero movies, and I'm big on Superman because I relate to a lot of his abilities, and even some of the shit now from my own subliminal videos that I create helps me access certain parts of my body. So what you got to do is, the reason why you don't perceive that you have these abilities of these superheroes is because you have been programmed on a human level to think like a fucking human, and you haven't been able to access the different parts of your brain, because it's our brain that also allows us to have these abilities, and different parts of our brain contains different parts of different abilities. And with the beliefs are the key to the door of different parts, the departments of our brain. Once you have the belief, then you'll be able to access those, you'll be able to go through those thresholds because you know that they're there. Let me give you an example. I have been creating my own subliminal videos, right? And the more I watched my advanced psychic video, because I have an advanced psychic subliminal video that I created for myself. And the more I watched that, the more I started to utilize my pineal gland, and I started to focus more on it. And that's the spiritual eye. The spiritual eye. That's where all intuition, clairvoyance, clairsentience, telepathy especially deals with. And having a open heart chakra deals with the intuition too. That's another thing. And boy, my intuition, I have a much heightened intuition than ever before, because it's like I can be in an environment that I've never been in before, and I can intuitively find my way throughout the place, and I trust it now, and I program my mind to trust my intuition. That's another affirmation that I have in one of my videos where it says I trust my intuition. So I'm utilizing the mechanism that these societies utilize against us to do what they want us to do. So me, I was like, okay, hold on, I can flip this shit and program my mind the way I want it. So advanced psychic is just one of the things that I do. So you have to have these beliefs into your mind to access these abilities. Like the movie Lawnmower Man. Go get the movie Lawnmower Man. Lawnmower Man. Dr. Coulomb, Jewel Coulomb mentioned in her 7. What was the name of her lecture? 7 something of the brain. 7 departments of the brain, something like that. Go look up Dr. Jewel Coulomb, and she said that they injected the liquid form of thoughts into the man that allowed him to access all of these special abilities. We can access these abilities with our beliefs. And then that's the start. And once you have the belief, then you'll be able to intuitively know how to utilize these abilities. Like the psychic one, now I'm able to focus even more on my pineal gland to be able to perceive things spiritually and psychically, and to see what's getting ready to happen. Like I even use my intuition for, even on a mundane level, for like the street lights, the red light, the traffic light. If I don't know when the light is getting ready to change, I'll sit there and I'll focus my pineal gland on it, and I'll just know like, oh, okay, it's getting ready to change in a few seconds, so I'll just wait, and then I'll know if it just changed, and then when it's time to just run across before it changes or anything like that. The traffic, I use it a lot in traffic when I'm walking, because now I'm on an advanced level as far as walking through traffic, to the point where I don't even have to look to see where the cars are coming. And there's many times I've done that. I walk across the street without looking, because I intuitively know where the car is at, and when there's a car behind another car. Because sometimes you'll have like a big truck and you can't physically see a vehicle on the other side, but if you got your heightened intuition, you know, like, oh, okay, a car is getting ready to come, so let me either run across or just stop and wait for that vehicle to go through and come across. That's just mundane stuff, but it's useful if you walk a lot, just like me. I depend on my own legs to get to where I want to go around my city. So once you do that, you start programming your mind, and then you realize, like, oh shit, it is possible. Just like telescopic vision. A lot of people have not seen it much as far as superhero, but I mean as far as Superman, but Superman has telescopic vision where he can zoom in on far distances, objects, people, and whatever. He can zoom in just like the camera. Remember, I said that these technologies come from the human body and our spiritual technology. That's where they got the ideals from, and they influenced us to depend on these fucking technologies, including the super advanced wheelchairs, aka cars and trucks and vehicles. So the camera comes from our own eye, and we have the zoom abilities. And with my subliminal programming of my videos, the more I viewed I have telescopic vision, the more I did that, the more I would sit there and I would look at something at a very far distance, and then I would focus my eye and trying to do the telescopic vision. And this is after my subliminal video programming. Before that, I never even tried to utilize telescopic vision. But afterwards, after I used it for a few weeks, I would automatically, if there's something that's at a far distance, especially like these chemtrail airplanes, I would try to zoom in, and I see that it is possible. And I'm still working on how this shit works. But once I get that, then I can do away with these glasses, because the glasses are another wheelchair type aid for a person's vision. So I'm like, okay, so if I can heal myself, then I gotta go ahead and regenerate this eye vision, because the eye vision starts young for a lot of people, especially my family. Yo, you know what was ridiculous? All of my family, my immediate family, and even nieces and nephews wear glasses. All of us. And I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. So I started sitting down trying to analyze this shit, and I realized wearing glasses is not a good thing. Being an advanced being, that is. So that's the next one of the many things that I've been focusing on, how to repair this vision. Once I get that repaired, that's puts me on even a better level than to have to deal with the glasses. But anyways, so you got to program your mind, and you program your mind with watching anything that you want to program your mind with. You have to find a way to associate with it, yourself with it. TV, the shows, the movies, especially other people, YouTube videos, reading about it, whatever. You got to immerse yourself in it. Whatever you want to program your mind with to change your behavior, you got to immerse yourself with it. So to access the melanin, you got to immerse yourself with all of the superhero stuff, the psychic stuff, and you end up, and then eventually you get to a point where you start changing your beliefs, and you'll start behaving differently, and you start doing things differently that you've never done before. You start programming your mind, and you start thinking differently. So with me, I offer custom subliminal videos. So whether you want to access your melanin to have your other extra abilities, or you want anything else that you can think of that you want to program your mind to be able to do and change your behavior, I can create that custom subliminal video for you. And for me, I have a super being subliminal video and an advanced psychic subliminal video for myself. I can also create one for you, and that's one major way that you can access your inner abilities. And it's time to step up to your power, because this human realm is already falling apart, and there's so much mind control going on, and there's so much dysfunctional things going on, chaos in this world. And if you don't have your mind right, and if you don't have certain abilities activated, then you're more than likely going to get caught up in this human realm and probably get taken out in one way or another. But if you keep this in mind, to our melanated beings, if you fuck with the human realm and you immerse yourself in it too much psychologically, then that's when other beings and other human beings can fuck with you and dominate you. But if you take your mind and put it on a higher evolutionary level, and you get on a high spiritual level, and you have packed with energy, the other lower beings that usually control people who are on a weaker level, and their auric field is weak and it's open for them to be able to come through and control them. Especially a lot of alcoholics are easier to manipulate too, because their auric field is not as clean as it should be. So the beings can come through their auric field and control them and give them certain negative thoughts. That's where a lot of suicide thoughts come from, is those beings. But when you get on a higher level, they will probably run away. Yeah, usually they'll run away from you, or they'll stop, and they know when you're around, because they can feel your energy. These other beings that are other dimensions, and also the beings that are controlling these human beings. That's why when I walk around certain times, certain people will just look at me, and they'll just look at me because it's my energy that they feel. And then the being that's inside of them, they nervous. And some people know what I'm talking about. When it comes to you, you know when that other being is inside that human, and you know that human shell, it don't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And like with these clones, they don't have it's certain energy that clones don't have. That's how I know that, oh, that's a clone right there. And a lot of people don't realize that these are clones walking around in these streets, and that you've been talking to. And you have to be on a certain intuitive level to know the difference between the clones, the other beings that's controlling these clones, and that's controlling people. It's a difference. And then when you come through, your energy is different from other people. And then those beings, they can feel your energy, and they know who you are more than you know who you are. It's fucked up. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta sit here and study myself and do my personal development work. And that's what I've been doing for years. So that's how I can focus, how I can do a lot of things on a higher level than the average person, and perceive this higher information, because I've been studying myself and learning how my body works and a lot of other stuff. So that's why I've been able to give this information. So alright, so that's that. If you're interested in my subliminal video service, you can check out my subliminals that I currently have on my Subliminal channel, YouTube channel. That's at NeoOneness Subliminals. You can search that in the YouTube search bar. Check out the videos that I have right there. If you want your own customized one, contact me and I'll give you the details about that. Okay, till next time.